Today is Sunday, August 7th, 2022. It is also day 181 of Blender, and I'm going to do another text animation today, but I'm going to try a different font thing. So I'm going to go to Geometry Nodes, hide the spreadsheet, click on New for a new Geometry Node system, disconnect the input from the output, Shift-A, get a String to Curves node, and string is the same thing as text, and so I'm going to connect the output of that into the geometry for the output so that I'm able to see it in the viewport, but I can't see anything because I don't have anything here in the string. So I'm going to set that to something like daycare, and now I'll be able to basically see that. So at this point I'm going to do Shift A and get a transform node so that I can rotate it along the x-axis, which is the red axis, by 90 degrees, so it's like upright like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the font. So today I have a font that I downloaded from, from thefont.com, and it's this hanging letters one. So I'll just go ahead and try to find that in fonts, and I'll paste that in there, and now it's looking really, really cute like that. And then I think I'm just going to add maybe some character spacing of 1.1, something like that. And then I'll go ahead and do Shift A and get a fill curve node and put that in here to give it some fill, and we'll change the fill type to n-gons, and then I'll do Shift A and get an extrude mesh node so that I can change the thickness, and maybe I'll add a thickness of 0.1. Whoops. But that's weird. Here's the thing, now the strings are also I think that's fine. I'm not really going to be able to see it from the front view. Alright, so, but here's the thing. From the back, though, it's hollow inside, so that basically means the fill is not working. So to fix that, I'll do a join geometry node. So Shift-A, join geometry. And I'm going to join the extrude mesh effect and also the fill effect, and now it's going to be filled in the back. Beautiful. Now I'm going to set a material for it. So I'll do Shift-A and get a set material node and put that in here, and I'm just going to set it to the first material that I see, and then I'm just going to Control S this to save it. Alright, and once it's saved, I'm going to go to the top and go to shading so that I can take care of the material aspect of this and give each letter a random color, or assign it a random color. So what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get an object info node, and then I'll do Shift A and get a color ramp, and then over here is where I'm basically going to connect the color to the base color, which is a material that I have already set in geometry nodes. And then I have this page over here, it's colors, and it just generates a random color palette for you. So I'm just going to pick these 3 colors, and just click on the tag over here, and then click on the color, and then change the hex to be that color. And I'll make sure that the random from the object information node is connected as the factor so that the colors are randomly, randomly assigned. Yes. Alright, and then I'll make sure that I add a few more colors. Where is it? Over here. So maybe this one also. So I'll select this one, kind of put it in the middle, change it to this color, and then I also might as well just get this yellow one, and I'll add one, and then that will add another tag, and I'll change it to the yellow color over here. Alright, so now it's looking like that, but here's the thing, it's like a variation of those colors, and I literally only want those 3 colors that I selected. So instead of linear, so that's like a linear gradient, I'm going to change it to constant, so it's just those constant colors randomly assigned to each of the letters. And then I'll be able to see in a few seconds. I feel like there's way too much blue, something like that. Maybe we need another color in here to kind of separate that, so maybe I'll go ahead and pick some white maybe, so add that over here and change that color. It should be this. Just don't want them to be all in the same place. So I'll kind of play around like that until I feel like I guess it's okay. Like cars standing out. Let me just come back when I feel like I like it. Alright, so I decided to go with this. So I changed the blue to be, I don't even know what I changed it to. Anyway, I still have, I have this orange one over here, which is E55812. And then I have this yellow one over here, which is F5D547 as the hex code. And then you'll see the pink hex code and the green hex code is as follows. Alright, so I'm going to leave it like that. And you can clearly see the amount of each that I put in the position, right? So that's that. And then I'll go back to geometry nodes and now get to the kind of like animation part. So in order to animate the letters, I need something to control the letters. So in the layout, I'm going to do Shift A and add an empty, and it's going to be an empty sphere. And then in the object data properties, I'll change the display to be a single arrow. And I'm just going to go into the outliner and call it control because it's what's going to be controlling my letters. And I'm going to go back to the geometry node system, and what's actually going to be moving my letters is a translate instances node. So that's, I'm going to put that in there. And so if I move it, the X is going to move left and right. If I move it on the Y, it's going to move up and down, and then Z is going to move forward and backward. But I don't want all my letters to move at the same time and at the same place, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the controller to, the distance between basically the positions of each letters from the controller is the value that the letters are going to move. So I'll have to do get a vector math node because I'm going to get the distance between two vectors, change that to distance, and then I'll get the vector. So the first one is the position, right, of each letter. So I'll do Shift A position, and then the second one is the position of the empty. So in order to get that, I can go to the outliner and I can simply just click on the, well, not click on the control, but hover over control and hover it over here and select it, right, and drag it into here. So to get basically the object information node, which contains the position, the location of the empty. So I select that there and connect this here. Now the value, this distance, is going to determine how much the letters are going to translate, so you can see that happening there. But I want my letters to translate on the y-axis, so up and down, so I'll get a combine XYZ node and put that in here and make sure that it's connected to the y. So as you can see now, they're in the up and down, right, y-axis. But here's the thing, I want my letters to be, let me rephrase, I want the empty, the controller, when it's close to a letter, I want the letter to be far away from it, right? And as farther away it is from a letter like E, I want it to be down, if that makes sense. I basically want the opposite of what I see here. Like D should be up and then E should be down, right? Because as I'm going through the animation, I want it to be so that when I go through it, the letters go up, but the opposite is happening. They're going down as the closer the controller is to it. So in order to fix that, I'll just do Shift A and grab a color ramp and put that right here in between the distance and the combine XYZ, and I'm just going to click on flip, and then now the closer I am to a letter, the higher it goes. So that's really cool like that. And then I also want it to kind of go up fast and then slow down at the top and then come down fast. And so to fix, not to fix, but to add that effect, I'll do Shift A and get a float curve and put that in here and just kind of make a curve kind of like that. And so now when I move it, it's at a constant speed. The controller, I see that the letters are going up fast, but they're slowing down at the top and then coming down fast. So that's a really nice effect. All right, so that's it for that animation. Now to get that animation in the render, I'm going to go to layout and I'm going to pull up my timeline and I'm going to press on N. So I'm just going to look at this, right? So I'm going to have my video be 80 frames. So I'm going to set the N to be 80. And then I'm going to drag my controller to be basically start at the beginning or right before it starts affecting the letter D. And I'm going to hover over that position over here, that location, which is negative 1.0572 meters for me. And I'm going to hover over that location and press I to insert a location keyframe on my timeline, which is going to appear to you as a yellow diamond. And then I'm going to go to keyframe 80, which is at the end of the video. I obviously want it to be literally at the end of the word. And so I'm going to move it right after it stops affecting the letter E. So that's about here. and I'm going to hover over that certain location, which is 3.3559 meters. Hover over that, press I to insert that location keyframe. So now when I play it, it goes through the letters and it plays that animation, which I think is super cool. Isn't that really pretty? All right, now for the actual rendering part, I'm going to press N to get rid of that, pull down my timeline, and then Control S and go here to render preview. Alright, so this is what it's looking like so far. So I'll do Shift A, Mesh Plane, Scale, G to grab, X to grab along the X-axis, G, Z to grab along the Z-axis to move it down a little bit. I'll go into Edit mode, or you can press Tab to go into Edit mode. Go to Edge Select, select the back edge, E to extrude, Z to extrude along the Z-axis, and then I'll go ahead and make this a backdrop by going to Modifiers and adding a bevel, and just increasing the amount and increasing the segments, maybe a little bit more of the amount. And then I'll apply it. I'll actually have to go to object mode, apply it, and then shade smooth, right click shade smooth, SX to scale along the X axis, and then I'm going to try to find a background color for this. Alright, so I'm going to go to base, material properties, click on new, and then go to base color and see if this color works. This is a 0E4749. I'm going to go to front view by pressing the button under the escape key and hovering over front and kind of just moving it like that. And then I'm going to do Control Alt numpad 0. If that doesn't work, go to edit, preferences, input, and make sure emulate numpad is on. And if that still doesn't work, it's probably because you don't have a camera. So do Shift A and add a camera. And that basically aligns your camera to the view. To get out of this view, you click the middle mouse button. To go back into the view, you click on 0. But I kind of want to get out of it and kind of have it be like a little bit more downwards, something like that, and make sure that it kind of captures everything. So Control Alt numpad 0, make sure it captures everything. Alright, so that's good. And then maybe let me see if I want a different color. I think I'm going to leave it as it is. And then here's for the rendering part. So I'm going to go to output properties, and I'm going to select the folder for all of my frames to render into. And I'm just going to create a folder over here and call it, I don't know, 8722 daycare for day, whatever. And select that, accept, and then make sure file format is PNG. And then I'll go ahead and do Control S and then render animation. And then all of the images should start, or all of the frames should start rendering in that specified folder, and you'll be able to see the 80 images. And once that's done, then we'll go ahead and put them together in the video editor. Alright, so now that I see that all of the frames rendered in the folder, I'm just going to go back over here and go to the top and go to plus, video editing, scroll this all the way to the left, and then I'm going to add an image sequence, and I'm just going to add all of the images basically. So that's the first one, and then I'm going to scroll down, shift select the last one, add image strip, and then I'll be able to see them, right, really nicely put together. So in output properties, I'm going to go to the folder and select the folder where I want it to render, which I think was over here. Create a new folder, I'll call it video, so my video is going to render there. Accept, and then I'm going to make sure the format is FFmpeg video. Under encoding, the container needs to be MPEG-4, and the output quality has to be high quality, and that's literally it. Now you go to the top and render animation, and then the video should be there in a few seconds. And here is the final result. Oh, now it's not here. Okay, where is it? Right here. So by the way, I kind of just went back and aligned my camera to be like all the way kind of to the bottom, so it would look like it's hanging right by strings, so it doesn't just look like it's hanging out of nowhere. And then I just adjusted the lighting a little bit. I just moved it forward, and that's literally it, so that the colors could pop up more. But yeah, this is it. This is a result. I think it's pretty cute, and I'm really loving the font. By the way, let me credit the font creator. Hold up, where is it? Okay, so it's by Harish Sela, right? That's the font creator. And yep, that's it for today then. Bye.